Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Real Talk with QHT, where we talk about life, business, and anything related to the New York real estate market. I'm your host, George Herrera, with the Queens Home Team at Keller Williams Realty. Today, I'm joined by three special guests, all Queens Home Team members. I have my wife, Abigail Herrera, here.
Hi, everyone. Wait, before we continue, can I be called Abigail the Great?
Yes, a.k.a. Abigail the Great.
Okay. That's from since I was young.
We have our team member, Daniel Ackerman here.
Hello, everybody. Hello.
All right,
It's
a.k.a.
my Elvis voice.
Yeah. And we have our listing and transaction manager, Anna Reyes here.
Yes.
Thank you.
A.k.a.
Stop
the
interrupting,
Octopus.
Abigail.
Sorry, but you have a nickname, which is what
yeah.
I want a nickname.
Yeah. So
She felt left out.
Daniel is a.k.a. Dollar Bill Dan.
Yes.
Dollar Bill Dan.
Anna
Bill Dan.
is the Octopus
Yes, this is true.
And why is
And-
she the octopus?
because she deals with so many people on a day-to-day
So-
basis.
So many.
And Abby is
Abigail the Great.
Self-proclaimed. Abigail
Yeah,
the
right. Yeah, we know she gave herself that title.
Wait, and what's George's nickname?
The mayor, I think.
The mayor.
The
Yes,
mayor.
the mayor.
I like that.
That's
I didn't
true.
know that.
Yeah,
That's-
yeah,
I
you
just
know
learned
that.
that. No, I didn't know that
Yeah.
before.
The mayor.
Awesome. All right. So in this episode, guys, we're talking about first-time home buyer stories. So if you have bought or if you're thinking of buying a property, then this episode will be very beneficial for you. Abigail and myself, we bought our first property in 2016. Daniel is in the process right now of buying.
Yay.
That's right.
Actually, just had a deal fall through, but he was
Yeah.
almost there.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
And Anna is in contract right now to buy her first property, and she's getting
Yay.
close to the finish line.
Woohoo!
So she's there. So we're going to give some stories about every stage of the process, and hopefully you can learn something. So why don't we start with the pre-approval process, what that process was like for you guys in the beginning when you first, maybe even the preparation up to
Sure.
getting ready to get pre-approved, and then when you got pre-approved, what steps did you take?
Okay. Should I jump in?
Ladies
Yeah.
first.
Okay.
There you go.
Should I jump in?
I don't even know. That's a good one.
That was good.
So preparation. I mean, I think it took me. I
That's
started the talk in 2017. You guys bought, I believe.
2016.
2016.
Yeah.
You guys closed. Okay. In 2016, George and Abby closed. And I kind of made a bet with George. I was like, "How old are you? 35? Okay, I'm gonna beat you."
Yeah.
So it kind of started from 2016 to like up to last year. I opened the account. My word of advice is open a separate account and have that as your
Good
savings
advice.
account.
That's a good tip.
Yeah, Anna, why don't you talk about those talks that we would have when remember from way back then, from when Anna first joined our team, I told her you have to own a property.
Yep.
And it could be 5 years from now, but we're going to get on the path to home ownership now. And so we have to, how's your credit? How much do you have saved? And so
Yeah.
Well,
talk
that's
a little
good.
bit
We're going
about
way
that.
back. I
Yeah.
like
And
that.
he actually
Yeah.
took the whip out and said, "You're not going to stay on the team unless you buy a house."
Yeah, that's a requirement
kidding,
on Queens
everyone.
Home Team.
And yeah, it's at my 5th year already, and I'm gonna close.
Yay.
But no, yes, it's the credit. But I think what was the main thing was if you don't have those searches going in your emails, it's not real. You know,
that's
when you see
interesting.
the properties or you're
Wow.
even looking at locations, I think that's what made it real.
I think
for
that's
us.
very true.
Wow.
And that's when you know you're serious.
Yeah.
So now,
that's a
when
good
did
tip.
you start getting the searches? When did you start saving? How was that?
So I started saving. I opened the account in 2019 because I was like, I had it saved, family crisis. That's why I say save a separate account.
Oh, yeah.
Because, sorry.
That's
I did have savings up, but a family emergency happened and we had to tap into it.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why I say open an account and forget about it.
Mm.
So I had to restart again in 2019. It took me, I think, about 7 months along with my husband, and we saved into the separate account. And and then the searches started once I was pre-approved,
Okay.
because we kind of knew where we wanted to go, so that wasn't a hard.
And how about that savings? Because Anna's buying in Connecticut. Okay,
Yes.
so she's part of this flight to the suburbs
Yeah,
and
for sure.
work from home economy. So Anna is actually buying in Connecticut. So Anna, how much did you have to save before you could actually get pre-approved?
I think what was it? The advice you gave me was once you have 5, that's it. Get pre-approved.
5 what?
5,000.
5,000.
Once you have $5,000, then you're not going to touch it, which is true. Once I had 5,000, I was like, I don't want to touch that, you know?
Oh, you mean, but not for getting pre-approved. But
No,
I
no,
told
no,
her
not for
once
getting
you
pre-approved.
once you save 5,000, you won't want to see it
touch
go
it.
down. But then, how much did you save before you actually went to get pre-approved?
10,000.
Yeah. So I think that's important to note because I think a lot of people think I have to put 20% down. I have
So
to have
true.
so much money. I have to have closing costs. And in reality, you can put as little as 3.5% down.
Yep.
You can build your closing costs into the mortgage by using a seller concession.
Yep.
So,
Which is everything I did.
with 10,000, and I think safer is, let's say 15,000.
Yes.
If you save 15 to 20,000 and you have good income, good credit, a steady job, you can get pre-approved,
Yep.
right? So
Yeah, and even without, I mean, there's more than 1 or 2 loan products out there, and I think it's important for buyers to realize that you've got FHA,
Yeah.
you've got 203K loans for
Sony
fixer
Mae.
uppers, you've got your Sony Mae, you've got your typical Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, you've got VA loans,
Yep.
you've got what's the one for farmers?
I
Yeah.
didn't know
I
about that
didn't
one.
know about that one.
Yeah,
We're
I
in
mean,
Queens,
We're
by
in
the way,
Queens,
so
so you're
we
not
don't
going
have
to you're not going to
farms.
get anyone. You're not going to get that. But yeah, there's a lot of different things available out there. So
How about you, Dan? How did it get to the point? What was the preparation like for you before you and Jenny got to getting pre-approved?
yeah, so my situation is interesting. I'm engaged to a wonderful woman named Jenny, who I cannot live without. I hope she's listening.
He talks about you all the time, Jenny.
I do talk about her all the time. So she is actually, because I don't have 2 years of steady income showing, I joined the team recently. Prior to
yeah.
that, I was a solo agent, struggling along. Now I'm a successful team member, and things are going well. But, getting a pre-approval for a loan, I knew that they were going to look for 2 years
Yeah.
of income.
That's good for people to know too.
Yeah, you're going to want to show some steady income for at least the last 2 years. I also knew that because my credit had taken a hit over the last 18 months, 2 years while I was building my business,
Yeah.
I knew that my credit was actually going to be a liability to us, right?
Okay.
Because I knew being in real estate, I knew that lenders base their interest rates
Yeah.
on your credit score.
That's true.
So the lower your credit, the higher your interest is going to be because you're higher risk. So we made the decision that once we were going to search for a home, that Jenny was going to be the one getting the pre-approval. So
Yeah.
she's the only one on the loan,
Okay.
which, married and unmarried couples should realize as well, is that you don't have to have both people on the loan.
That's true.
You can
Yeah.
have both people on the loan and both people on the deed,
Or both on the deed, one on the loan. Yeah.
or
you
vice
can-
versa.
Yeah.
You could have, one person on the deed and both people on the loan. It totally depends on your personal situation.
True.
And that's something that you can talk to your real estate agent and to your real estate attorney about
Yes.
to get some guidance on what works best for your personal situation, and possibly your accountant too. That might be another
that's
good person
true.
to talk to.
Yeah.
So for us, it made the most sense for Jenny to be the one pre-approved.
Awesome.
We reached out to one of the contacts that we have on the team,
Mm-hmm.
actually 2 of the contacts that we have on the team. One we decided not to go with just because it just didn't feel like a good match personally.
Yeah.
Just a personality thing, which people should remember too, is that it's not just about the numbers. You want it, all of the people in your real estate transaction when you're buying, especially when you're buying, because it's such an emotional experience.
Yeah.
You want to work with people that you gel with personally. And you want to shop around. So we shopped around to 2 different lenders, basically.
Okay.
And we got pre-approvals from both. And we are searching in the Jersey area. We are also part of the flight to the suburbs.
They're all leaving.
We're all leaving.
They're traitors.
Yeah. We're still on the team. And we'll still work in Queens, Manhattan, Brooklyn. But yeah, for us to buy, we needed to be in Jersey because it just matched our criteria
Yes.
for, what we were looking for, commute and all that stuff. And we ended up going with a Jersey lender who was recommended to us by our agent in Jersey. And I want to throw this in. I'm a real estate agent. I'm licensed and experienced. I've been licensed for 5 years. I made a very conscious decision and told my fiance we're definitely going to hire a buyer's agent to guide us in the process,
Yeah.
especially because it's in an area that I'm not familiar with.
Yeah, totally. That
And
makes
just
sense.
to add another tip, because it's the savings process
Yes.
up to the pre-approval. The thing that I'm grateful for, and if you don't know, George and Abby are my boss. But it's when you're getting an end of year bonus.
Yeah.
Try to have it put into your payroll.
Oh, yeah.
Why? Because it shows more income.
Oh, yeah,
in your
that's a
taxes.
good
and
one.
I didn't understand that until now.
Yeah,
yeah.
that's a
And
good
I'm
one.
like, thankful that, it's always been that way.
Yes.
But yeah, so I would, don't pocket it. If this
Yeah.
is your what you want to purchase a home, do it where it shows you have more income.
Yeah.
So
And
did I answer your question, by the way?
Yeah.
About-
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
The preparation to come
Okay.
up to it, and like for Abigail and myself, I remember 2 years before we bought, I spoke to one of our preferred lenders at that time that we worked a lot with, Matt Odessa, and I
Hey,
reached out
Matt.
to
Hey,
him.
Matt.
Yeah, what's up, Matt? So I reached out to Matt. I said, Matt, we want to buy a 2-family in Astoria. What do I need for down payment? We had good credit, so credit was fine. Said, how much do we need to put down, and what kind of income do we need to show? Tell me what it needs. And he said, this is what you need to show. Boom, target. That's my goal. So then the next 2 years, especially if you're self-employed, find out how much you need to show to get pre-approved for what you want to buy, and you just have to eat it. You show the income you need to show. You can't write off everything because that's going to hurt you. So make sure you look good on paper, report good income, and that way you're able to get pre-approved. But as you can hear right now, it takes years before you get
Yeah.
there. It's not something that you just decide sometimes, but it's a path to a home ownership.
Yeah, and I think what you said is so important, and that is, and actually you demonstrated as well, and that is that it's about setting the goal first.
Yeah.
Set the goal, and from the goal, you will figure out the plan.
Yes. Very
You know,
true.
if you want to own a home, okay, maybe you're not ready right now.
Yeah.
Figure out what it'll take to get ready.
Yeah.
And that's going to tell you what your plan is.
Very
If
true.
you can save $2,000 a year and you need to save $10,000, okay, you're on a 5-year plan. That's
Yes.
all right.
Yeah.
But talk to somebody. If it's a goal of yours, if it's a dream of yours to own a home, get on that goal as soon as possible, because the sooner you get on it, the sooner you can figure out what your plan needs to be
Yeah.
to get there. You
Very
know?
true. Very true.
I'll add a side note relating to spouses or couples that are buying together, because when we were preparing to buy our first house, I mean, I wasn't even thinking about it. I was just very comfortable. I
We were
didn't grow up in
we
a-
were renting right
we were
here.
renting,
Uh-huh.
and I was very happy and very comfortable, very complacent where we were, and I never really understood even as a realtor, I just didn't really. I guess it's my comfort levels that really just made me complacent, right? Complacent, and so when George started talking about like buying a property, I was just like la da da la, just like hanging out, you know.
Oh,
and
that sounds so familiar.
And he would talk about it. He would start to just really talk about it more and more. And then he did exactly like what you said, Anna, about listing alerts, like talking to me about properties every day. So he was
Yeah.
kind of inceptioning me without knowing it, but just really he was getting excited about it. And it took me a little bit of time to come along. So what happened as far as spouse is concerned is that he would do really the back end work. I think your situation is similar, Daniel.
Yeah.
Even maybe yours, Hannah, where like he would do the back end work and introduce me to properties and really, hey, finally we have an appointment. So he would take me, and then he would start to see what I liked and what I didn't like, narrow down the properties even more. And the more that I started to see homes and neighborhoods, I would start to get excited about it.
Yeah.
And so
Totally.
like we, as a couple, we share different qualities that work well. And so that's what he did on his end, and then my part is when we finally were preparing. I was preparing for the move and doing other duties.
And that actually is a great tip. If you're buying as a couple, maybe separate those
Roles.
roles of,
Yeah.
okay, who's going to do the saving? How are we doing our savings? What's the game plan? So am I giving you money? How are we doing the saving? Who's going to be in charge of looking for properties? Who's going to get us pre-approved? So, sometimes it just ends up happening where one person is taking the responsibility for one part and the other person might take the responsibility for another part of it. But it's definitely a team effort,
Yes.
and it can get frustrating if
Yes.
you're not on the same page.
Yeah, I think I think The issue for couples, I mean, and maybe we're getting off the main topic here, but for couples, you know, you're going to be two different individuals that you've agreed to spend your lives together, or at least, you know, so far. And you're going to have different opinions, and you have to give each other the space to have veto power.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So both people can have veto power. What's left over after the veto power is what there's agreement on.
Oh.
You know, so like that's how Jenny and I did it. I was like, okay, we're going to stay as open-minded as possible, but we both have veto power.
Oh.
So if I veto it, it's just not right for me.
I like that.
You know, so it needs to be right for me, and it also needs to be right for you. So she has just as much veto power over my choices as I have over hers.
Wow.
And whatever gets left over, that's what we focus on, because we both agree on that.
That sounds
And
very
it's true.
fair. I don't have veto power. I only Abby has veto power. I wish I knew what that was like. If she likes it, we're getting it.
Hey, but I've had good final decisions in the end.
No,
Yeah,
Abby's
no,
good at
it's
it. Like
every-
the way we do it when we bought our first one, our second one, and even as we look for another property, my job is to find the properties. I know what she likes, so I just need to schedule the viewing, set up the appointments, you know, bring her in there, and then Abby has the final say. I don't even, for me, it's just like, look, this is a good property that I like. It meets our criteria. I think you'll like it.
So you
What
kind
do
of do. So you kind of do have veto power because you're
Yeah.
doing the initial screening to present to her in
yes.
the first
Exactly.
place.
I am,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I,
You know.
like you said, this is kind of off topic, but I thought it was important to mention because a lot
Yeah.
of people are like, you know, not all people, but you know, there's a lot of people that are couples that are buying
Yeah.
together,
Yeah.
and
Or
those
families
are those things to
or-
prepare,
Yeah.
preparation, and that's why I wanted to mention
And
that.
it's true
planning.
because you guys told us that when I was searching with Jose, we're both. I'm like the alpha, and it's like, no, it's my way. But I'm like, no, he's gonna live in the house too.
Yeah, there you go.
So it was like, okay, 5 things we need in the house.
Yeah.
You want, I want these things.
Yes.
And same thing, I'm not budging.
Yeah.
I want my master bath and my bedroom, and anything else is yours.
Yeah.
So, and that's what he did. He
Nice.
searched for the houses.
Yeah.
He said, we're going on Saturday to view these houses. I said,
Yeah.
does it have a master bathroom? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, we can see it.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then that's how we decided.
So that's awesome. So why don't we go to, because we didn't talk about your pre-approval process, Anna. How was that process of you getting pre-approved? Did you just walk into Chase and go with the bank that you bank with, or did you reach out to multiple lenders?
So I did the same thing like Dan had did, you know, reached out to 2 parties, and then we just went more with one. It wasn't walk-in because it's time for COVID.
Yep.
So it was over the phone. I sent him everything online, and it was pretty quick. I mean, you know, pre-approved. I think he pre-approved me right on the spot. So
Okay,
it was pretty
okay.
simple.
Did you have any fears or anything, any nerves about the pre-approval?
No, because I'm a real estate agent, so
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
what it, you know. But for those buyers that don't know, of course, you're giving your
Yeah.
information to someone that you don't know. So, you know, just make sure that you understand what you're giving and
Yeah.
why you're giving
Yeah.
it.
How about the people who get worried about giving their documents and everything to multiple lenders? You know, they worry about, oh, they're going to run my credit again. I'm going to
Yeah,
get my
so-
credit
Good
run
question.
3 times.
So Jenny
Good question.
had that fear. So that was
Okay.
that was a part of our pre-approval process.
Yeah.
Was that Jenny was not so much worried about sharing her documents, but more worried about like what impact it might have on her credit.
Yes.
And I kept, you know, because I'm a real estate agent, I'm experienced with this. I know that it doesn't have an impact on your credit unless you go beyond a certain amount of pre-approvals in a certain span of time.
Yes.
But generally, you can do, I think, like 4 or 5 within a 90-day period
That's correct.
without having an impact on your credit score. But she's like, no, I don't want to do this. You know, it's gonna impact my credit. And I kept trying to tell her and reassure her that it wasn't going to be the case. The lenders had to reassure her as well that it wasn't going to be the case. Now, she did see something on her consumer credit report. So like she was looking on, I don't know, some service like Mint or something like
Credit
that.
Karma or
Yeah,
something.
Credit Karma, where she did see points come down. So and she got really freaked out. And I had to like calm her. I had to be like, don't worry about it. It's not, even if you did have a little bit of a knock on your credit, it's not going to be significant. Well, and this is something that I did not know, which I learned. On the consumer side, you may see some fluctuation in your credit score as a result of the pre-approval, but what the credit bureaus are actually looking at and what lenders are actually looking
FICO.
at. The FICO. It actually doesn't fluctuate. Because I think there's some kind of I don't know exactly what's going on, but I think there's like a lag time that happens. So they look at it on like a rolling 90-day calendar or something like that.
Okay.
Whatever it is, you can rest assured that on the side that matters,
You're
right, with
good.
lenders and credit reporting agencies and credit checking agencies, you're good. It's not going to affect your credit score, even if you do see some fluctuation on your consumer-facing, Credit Karma or something.
Yeah,
like that.
that's good to know because
Yeah.
people worry about that.
Yeah,
but
people worry a
you
lot.
should definitely shop lenders. Get at least 3 loan estimates.
Yeah.
So how about now the house hunting process? We can talk about like how you went about your search. What apps did you use? Which one do you
Oh, that's
like
a good
better?
one.
Which website?
That's a good one.
Well,
how
why don't
do
you tell us, George?
Well, for us, KW is gonna kill me probably, but
Keller Williams, in case you're
Oh
wondering.
gosh, I'm a Trulia guy. I love the Trulia app. I just like the Trulia app is so user friendly. The way it's designed is perfect because it shows you obviously you can narrow it down easily, and then it shows you the map, the street view, restaurants and shopping nearby, the schools, the commute. So it's really good. Street Easy's good too. Street Easy.
Street Easy is specific to New York.
Yes, and Trulia, the Trulia app just works really well. I tried our KW app, but the
coming
functionality
along.
just wasn't there yet for how I like it.
It's
But
getting a lot better.
I'm a Trulia guy.
Yeah.
What about you guys?
Well, we used both Trulia and Realtor.com. We spoke to our agent. So once we got pre-approved, we actually got referrals on several agents to talk to as well. So I want to talk about that at some point. But we interviewed agents, and I insisted on them giving us a full buyer consultation because I wanted to see how they ran their buyer consultation.
Okay.
So, quick tip for anybody out there: if you are interviewing agents, ask for a full buyer consultation and tell them that you're willing to sign a buyer representation agreement. When an agent hears that, they're going to be interested in giving you the best service possible.
And here we have differing opinions because Dan is of the belief as a buyer that I want an agent, I want to hire an agent and do a buyer consultation, whereas Anna I think has a different viewpoint
Yeah.
on the initial how hiring your agent and doing a buyer consultation.
Yeah.
Well, let's go back to
Yeah.
the apps.
So the apps,
yeah,
that,
websites
the
and
apps that we
apps.
used were Realtor.com and Trulia.
Okay.
So we used Realtor because our agent basically told us that one was the one that had the most accurate and up-to-date information.
Okay.
I guess the feed from the MLS that they get was the best.
Yeah.
So we've done most of our searching for properties on Realtor.com, and then we would cross-reference that with information on Trulia regarding the neighborhood. So we would use
Oh.
Trulia for the neighborhood information, Realtor.com specifically for the listings.
Nice. Okay.
And Realtor.com has a very robust layers as well, so you can look at things like crime, school districts, local amenities, things like that. So they're catching up to Trulia. in
Okay.
that
Oh
regard.
yeah, Trulia has the
Yeah.
crime thing too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's what we used.
Okay. Anna.
So in the beginning of our search, we were thinking of going upstate.
Oh yeah.
And so we were using MLSLI.
Uh-huh.
Because I didn't really know how to work Trulia. So we were using MLSLI, and because I'm an agent, so I would see if there was, any accepted offers on our MLS. And we were using Realtor.com. But then we switched our focus to Connecticut. And I can honestly say I don't know what my husband used. But again, he didn't do much search and then the agent started sending us listings.
Oh, and then he would just focus on whatever the agent said.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting, the house hunting part. But
Yeah.
okay, so since and usually I think we're in a good order because I think most people who want to buy start searching for properties online before they ever hire an
100%.
agent.
Yeah.
And it could be a year or 2 years
Definitely.
before
Yes.
you actually you're ready to talk to an agent to show
Definitely.
you properties. So when you went about finding an agent, how did that come about?
So once we knew that we were definitely not going upstate, we shifted our site to Connecticut. And I know nothing of Connecticut, neither does my husband. So I knew I had to ask for a referral. Like I reached out to our old team leader, Mike Brown, and he referred me to someone who referred me to someone. So he referred me to Derek, and then Derek referred me to a Connecticut agent, Steve. And then, so am I talking about the whole process?
Just like how you came about. So you got referred through.
Yeah,
So
referred.
what Anna's talking about here is reaching out to an agent because if you're buying in an area that you're not familiar with, but you know an agent in your area, you can ask that agent to refer you to an agent
Yes.
in another area
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
a lot of companies have agents all over, and
Especially ours.
yeah, and
Relocation partners.
relocation partners.
Yeah.
And let's say, for example, when we refer an agent, your agent that you know can do due diligence to make sure they refer you to somebody
Exactly.
good, and that they worked out well. Your
Yes.
referral, you're happy with him.
Yeah.
So that's good. And did you do a buyer consultation?
No.
So how did that go? How did they learn about what you're looking for?
So he showed us properties the first day, and he kind of picked up on what we liked, what we didn't like. I saw 5 properties that Saturday, and he picked up on what we liked, what we didn't like, what town we were leaning to, what we wanted. And after that, he was like, okay, so it just worked well. He understood what I wanted. How I knew that, because the last property we saw, it was kind of like a dead end street. It was really, really like not lit well. And he was like, I'm not showing you guys this property because you're not going to like it. And I was like, well, you don't know if I'm not going to like it. Like, who knows? Maybe I will. So I went in and I was like, no, I don't like it. So I turned around. We turned around and he was like, yeah, I kind of knew that. So
Yeah.
right then and there, I was like, he's our agent. Like, I have to work with him.
Because
Yeah.
he was paying attention.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And to the details, because he would pick up on what Jose liked, my husband. He'll pick up on what I like. And he can tell, okay, so when she doesn't walk around the property, she doesn't like it. Where Jose is a buyer that wants to see everything,
Yeah.
where I would just be like, I walk in, no.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
So-
did he ask you for a pre-approval before showing you those 5 houses?
No.
Oh, so he just conversation,
He just kinda
take
went
you
in.
out, go and show.
Yeah.
Wow.
But
Go
we
and
told him
show.
we were pre-approved.
But he has also he's been in the business. I think you said like 2
2
years.
years,
So, so yeah, those are some of the
Yeah.
So, I mean, agents operate differently. Some agents will talk to you, get a feel for what you're looking for, and they'll show you. And some agents will require a pre-approval or a buyer consultation, right?
I mean, for me, my opinion on guiding buyers is that whenever buyers call us needing some assistance in searching for a property, the first thing I ask them, well, first of all, thank you for contacting our team, of course. But then I always want to ask them, have you already gone through the pre-approval process, or will this be a cash purchase? If they say no, then I tell them that's actually the very first step
Sure.
in buying a property, because in order for the agent to help you properly, they need to understand what budget you're working with. And the idea of getting pre-approved is for the bank to understand what is comfortable with your personal financials.
Yeah.
From once you get your pre-approval, then the agent can consult with you and tell you where and what type of property you
Yeah,
can buy.
definitely.
That's, in my opinion, the best plan. If you're just beginning the process of just trying to get an idea of like, I want to buy a property, I want to start planning, my suggestion is just to go to open houses and check out neighborhoods. But even then, it could be a somewhat waste of time, because let's say that you spent every weekend just, touring homes and getting an idea, and then you speak to a lender and it just doesn't, you just can't get pre-approved for one reason or another. You just wasted all that time, unfortunately.
Exactly.
And so, in my professional opinion, I think it's important that you get pre-approved first, and then you connect with an agent, because
Yes.
even an agent will consult you well from that point.
That's
And just
true.
to be
Abigail
clear,
the
I
Great,
was-
everybody.
Yes.
Right?
Just to be clear, I was pre-approved. So
Yeah.
he knew my
He
max.
Just, he
That's
just didn't
different.
ask
yeah.
for it.
He
Yeah.
didn't ask for
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So my approach was different. And Anna, it sounds like what you were really looking for was somebody who could find you the right property.
Yes.
And that wasn't a concern to me at all.
Yeah.
What was a concern to me was having somebody that was going to be a fiduciary. Because I'm experienced enough looking at houses and that I know what I like, and Jenny knows what she likes.
Yeah.
So we weren't, and I know, being an agent, that an agent really isn't going to show me anything that I can't find on my own.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that all buyers out there should know.
Yeah, that's true.
Your agent can't really show you that much that you can't already see on your own.
Maybe in the olden days.
Maybe in the
Yeah.
old days,
not,
but
not anymore.
now with Realtor.com, Zillow.com, Trulia.com, everything that your agent can see, you can see.
Wait, can I
Yes.
just interject for one moment?
Sure,
Something
Abigail the
really
Great. Why not?
Something really important, because in this day and age, if you or your spouse or by yourself or whoever you're partnering with to buy a property, if your job is demanding and you just don't have the time, and you need that from your agent because you just have no time to sift through the properties,
Sure.
then that is where
Absolutely.
And again, that's also depending on the consultation.
Yeah,
what is important
100%.
to that buyer, and that's
Yeah.
where listening,
Yeah.
just like Anna mentioned, is very important.
Yeah.
What do you need as a buyer, and that
Yeah.
understanding that and allowing
Yeah,
Yeah.
but for us, it wasn't really a concern that the agent actually find us the property. Like we were comfortable doing the looking.
Mm-hmm.
What we wanted was somebody who could provide us honest price opinions of value, and I knew right off the bat that I wasn't going to get that unless I signed somebody to an exclusive,
That's
because
true.
by law, an agent can't provide you a price opinion that goes against the listing agent's or the seller's list price unless they are hired as a buyer's representative.
Yeah.
Now, are there agents out there that will do it anyway? Sure. But then I didn't want to work with a person who would be willing to go against, laws of ethics either.
Yes.
So I wanted to make sure that I was working with somebody who was really professional and by the book and knew what fiduciary duty meant, because I wanted them to be my representative.
Yes.
So I insisted on a consultation, and it actually surprised the agent that we actually ended up hiring. She's like, "Oh, I don't usually do exclusive representation agreements," and I said, "That's no problem. We'd like to give you one anyway."
Yeah.
And because I knew that when it came to negotiating, when it came to getting price opinions, she had to represent my interests
Yeah.
and not the seller's interests. And that was what to me was most important, because I don't want somebody selling me on a property.
Yeah.
I want somebody representing me on a property.
That's good.
And then we needed expertise. So we wanted to do a consultation because I wanted to suss out how much experience and how much expertise somebody had in an area. It didn't matter if they were in the business for 2 years or 10. I wanted to see and hear from them when I asked them questions, how they responded to those questions, and get a sense for, okay, this person knows what they're talking about and has the expertise that I need to help me get to where I want to go.
And
And
did you have a list of questions to ask?
I did.
Oh, you did?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anna, did you have questions specifically, or you just went with the flow?
Yeah,
So,
I think for me it was because I'm face to face is not my my cup of tea, but seeing the properties with him and him saying, okay, so this is this septic tank and this is the well tank and this is what's going on. That right there was like, okay, he knows what he's talking about, because I didn't want him to go in there and go, so this is the third bedroom and this is the bathroom
Right.
and this is the kitchen. He
Yeah.
was actually really going
and
room
I
by
guess
room.
that's the learning lesson, is that if you're a buyer and then you just go and meet an agent, they show you a property, but if you don't feel that expertise coming out on a showing, then find another
Yes.
agent. But if you meet an agent that you see that expertise and already can tell that that's an expert, then you might want to just
Yeah.
stick to that agent, right?
Yes.
Once you find a good agent that you have good rapport with and you know they're an expert, why go and be contacting listing
Yeah.
agents and talking to several different agents? Stick with the
And
one
we
you
did
get
sign
along
with him because
Yeah.
I said, I want you to represent us and not the seller.
Yeah,
Nice.
very good, very good.
Yeah, see.
And another thing I want to throw in there real quick. One question that I did ask was if they handled sellers as well.
Ooh.
And if they said yes, then I asked, how do you manage handling, just as a time management thing, how do you handle, managing both sellers and buyers at the same time? Because I can tell you from experience, working with both at the same time is really challenging in terms of managing time.
That's true.
Both of the agents that we interviewed said yes. One had an answer for us that was preferable to me than the other, and so we gave our allegiance to that agent.
Nice. Interesting.
My agent has a team.
Yeah, so and ours did too. And actually,
yeah.
we just did a podcast about teams,
Yes.
and this was one of the reasons that we hired the agent that we did, because they have a team.
Yeah.
So they were able to delegate out tasks that
Yes.
allowed them to help both buyers and sellers at the same time in a way that was actually manageable.
Nice, nice. All right, so we pretty much went through everything except for the negotiating process, which we didn't get to cover.
Ooh, that's a big one.
Yeah, because negotiating is a big part of when you're buying.
We should cover that.
Yeah, just real
Should we
quick.
jump in there?
Yeah, we can run through that real quick. Negotiating. Abby has a good story of ours of how that went down. And then if you can just give a story, Dan, you can talk about the recent deal that fell through, but how that negotiation played out. And Anna, on your deal that you're in contract, how that negotiation happened. So, baby, remember when we bought and we saw this house and then we met the listing agent here and how that negotiation played out here?
Well, it ultimate. Oh, am I allowed to say that?
What? I mean, you don't have to say who the agent is, but just how it,
process.
how
So
it went down.
ultimately, when we stopped by, obviously we're agents at the time, but when we came to see the property, first of all, George was using the Truly app, and he knows what I wanted, and ultimately it pinged that morning. So I was like, oh my God, it's the one. I don't know why, but I was like, it's the one.
Because it was 1 block from where we were living. That's why.
So the property was like, so in any event, we went to see the property. And we met the agent, and we ended up signing a disclosure form, right?
Yeah, the agency disclosure
Yeah,
form.
the agency disclosure form. And so basically, he was not representing really the sellers like an open listing of some sort.
Oh.
And
Yeah.
so ultimately,
Interesting.
he
It
signed
was
off.
like a buyer's agent.
Yeah, it was
kind of-
basically like a buyer's agent agreement. And so, of course, I'm an agent, so it wasn't explained to me. I knew it was signed, and I signed it anyway because I knew what the meaning of fiduciary means.
Yeah.
So what happened is once I signed it, so I said, well, I just signed this. So, I know what this means. So you have to tell me now you have to tell me like what's going on with the property. Like
What's the
give
price
us
that's
the
gonna
ins.
get it done?
What's the
Yeah.
price that's
Yeah.
going to get it done ultimately? So without giving the specific details, we would have ended up spending a lot more on this home because I wanted it so bad. But what ended up being disclosed to me, because there was no allegiance to the homeowner, it was an open listing. There was no allegiance, and I signed a buyer agency agreement.
Right.
He was able to tell me what the last negotiated offer was. And we were going to submit an offer substantially higher than that. And now that we knew that information,
Oh,
we ended
yeah.
up winning the property.
Nice.
And we
way less.
That's
than-
a
Yeah.
golden nugget that you guys
golden
just
nugget
shared right
for
there.
Yes.
sure.
Yeah.
And so it worked out in our favor, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful. In the end, the way it turned out. And again, like open listings, there's no fiduciary duty to
Yeah.
the sellers. So ultimately, we looked out in that end. And that's another side tip, by the way. When you're working with an agent, you want to hire a listing agent. You want to hire an exclusive listing agent because the duty of the agent is to protect your interests
Yeah.
as a seller.
When
Yeah, I
you-
mean,
So we
just
got
as if you're a
lucky.
first-time buyer, you need to understand what fiduciary duty
Correct.
is and
Yes.
how it works.
So-
your agent should explain that.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
bottom line, that's what happened. We ended up winning the bid at a substantially lower price, and our property's worth much more than we paid for it now.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, our negotiation story, so it's an ongoing story.
Yeah.
We've submitted many offers. Some have not gone forward. We went forward on this one. We were in negotiations for 3 weeks without getting an accepted offer from the
Oh
from
my
the seller.
God.
This is in New Jersey where there are things called in-ground oil tanks, and they can be a big risk. So basically, this house had an in-ground oil tank, and we were negotiating on that. The price was,
No problem.
No problem. Everybody had agreed on the price. We offered over asking because that's what has to happen out there right now. But the in-ground oil tank was the sticking point. So we were going back and forth for 3 weeks on different ways to structure the deal to see if this oil tank could be addressed in a way that we avoided risk and the seller got what they were wanting, which was a sale on the home, for good money. Well, the negotiation, our agent fought hard for us. We spoke to several attorneys as well, and several attorneys wouldn't take us because of the way that the deal was structured. We went back and forth many times with the sellers and proposed different solutions to the problem, and ultimately the negotiations broke down. So we're back on the search. But this is something that first-time buyers should know, is that this is a normal part of the process. It's not just about making an offer and getting it accepted and going to contract. Like, there's a lot of other stuff involved, and negotiations will sometimes be drawn out. There may be little details here that one side just can't deal with, and it can fall apart. What I haven't been prepared for in the process, being a professional agent, is how emotional it can actually be.
Yeah.
Even as a professional agent, like this has been an emotional process.
And for Jenny too.
Even more,
yeah.
even more for her. For her, it's been a roller coaster, you know. And I know what you know this is like, so I'm a little bit prepared for it. But even for me, like there have been times where like the emotion just kind of runs away with you. So you need that agent there to kind of keep you in check,
Yes.
you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, negotiations can hit bumps. They can fall apart for minor things, even,
Yeah.
you know. And this is not a minor thing, and we were really working hard on it. Now we just got to keep going.
There
We
you
know what
go.
we know what we want. We know that we can get it. We just got to find the seller who meets eye to eye with us.
Yeah. Get right back on the horse.
Exactly.
How about you, Anna?
Anna.
So mine was pretty simple because I have a great agent. So in Connecticut, you know, everyone's leaving New York to go upstate Jersey or Connecticut. So he said, if you really want the house, you gotta put asking. So we put the asking price, and then we use the seller's concession. That's not very typical in Connecticut, I was told. So he was like, I'm gonna try my best and let's see what happens. On our drive back home, he was like, okay, you got it. They wrote up the contracts, and that same day I was in contract. So it went pretty smooth. It doesn't happen all the time, but you know, my experience, thank God,
Were
was pretty
you
simple.
were you or Jose hesitant in offering full asking price, or were you all good? Go ahead, let's do it.
Yes, and the good thing is it was on a Sunday, and I called my lender at 11 in the morning, and he answered. And I told him, listen, this is the number. Can I do it? And he said yes, and we said, okay, let's do it.
Boom.
We really wanted the house. This was house number 1 we saw out of 10, and we went back to house number 1, and we got it.
Oh,
Yeah.
that was the first one.
Wow.
You saw 10 and you
Yep.
bought the first one.
I think the lesson there is if you're serious about something,
Yeah.
don't mess around.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it
Like,
checks the boxes.
Give the seller what they're looking for, and you'll have a deal.
Yeah.
That's so
Yeah.
true.
Go with
yeah.
your gut.
Go with
Yeah,
your gut.
yeah.
All right, awesome, guys. So that's our first-time home buyer stories. Hopefully, they were entertaining and insightful. You know, next episode, we'll do some other episodes with some more home buyer tips, home seller stuff. But hopefully, that was insightful. If you have any questions, you can reach out to us anytime. QueensHomeTeam.com. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Dan,
Yes.
you want to give them the whole?
Oh yeah, guys, give us a thumbs up on YouTube. You know, it helps us grow the channel. Subscribe to the channel if you like the video, and share it with others. And hit the bell, and you'll get notifications of all our new videos.
Spoken like a true vlogger there. All right. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Make sure you subscribe to the
And
podcast
gals.
also, so that you can check us out for any future upcoming episodes. All right. Take care.
Take
Have a
care,
great day.
everybody. Bye bye.
Bye.